My husband told me I didn't really have a choice. His brother was drowning in $3 million of casino debt, and somehow that meant my pre-marriage condo, my sanctuary, was now up for sacrifice. His mother sat on the edge of our pristine white couch and smiled like it was all very reasonable. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "family helps family. You want to be part of this family, don't you?" That was the moment I decided. Not just that I wouldn't give them the condo. Not just that I wouldn't pay a dime. But that I would ruin them, with a smile just as sweet. Let me rewind. My name is Dana. I'm 36. I was raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs to help me through college. Everything I've built with blistered hands and an unwillingness to go back to scraping. I bought my downtown condo when I was 29. It wasn't huge, but it had tall windows, a view of the skyline, and floors I installed myself. It was mine, before him, before Ethan. We met at a conference in Miami. He was charming, successful, and so damn sure of himself. I'd been single for years, building my consulting business from the ground up. He was a financial planner with a dazzling smile and a Rolex that probably cost more than my car. At first, I was cautious. He was used to women melting around him. I didn't. I made him earn it. And he did. Flowers, dates, late-night drives where he listened to me ramble about risk reports and tax strategies like it was Shakespeare. We got married after 2 years. My lawyer was insistent about the prenup, and thank God for that. I had my condo protected. Premarital asset, sole ownership, etched into the agreement like armor. Ethan said he understood. He said he respected it. "You worked hard for that place," he said. "It's yours." Liar. The first crack showed 6 months after we got married. We were at dinner with his family, his mom, Marcia, and his younger brother, Owen. I'd always felt a bit like an outsider around them. They were the kind of people who dropped private equity and Nantucket into casual conversation. My family didn't even own passports. That night, Owen was visibly tense. He kept tapping his glass, checking his phone, rubbing the back of his neck like he was covered in invisible ants. Finally, after dessert, it came out. He'd taken a loan from a casino in Atlantic City. A big one. $3 million. Apparently, it wasn't just blackjack. It was sports betting, underground poker rooms, and some guys who didn't like being kept waiting. I remember looking at Ethan and waiting for him to say something. Anything. But he just exhaled like this was normal. That's when Marcia turned to me. "We'll need to refinance the condo." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. I refused, obviously. I reminded Ethan that the condo was mine. That it wasn't marital property. That I wasn't selling the one piece of real estate tied to me, my independence, my story, just because his brother couldn't keep his hands off a roulette wheel. That's when Ethan said it. "You're being selfish." I blinked. "I'm being what?" He looked me dead in the eye. "You have something that can help save my brother's life, and you're choosing a building over his future?" I said, "I'm choosing sanity. And consequences. And not funding a degenerate's debt spiral." That's when Marcia added her venom. "Sweetheart, you don't really have a choice. Not if you want to keep this family together." Over the next 2 weeks, they waged psychological war. Ethan iced me out. He slept in the guest room. He stopped answering my calls during the day. Marcia would drop by just to talk, always with a passive-aggressive smile and subtle warnings about how Owen has some dangerous people involved. The pressure was suffocating. They made me feel like I was the one breaking the family apart. The worst part. For a moment, I almost caved. Until I found the text. It was 2 a.m. Ethan was asleep, or pretending to be, in the guest room. I couldn't stop spiraling, so I picked up his iPad to check emails for work. He forgot to sign out of his messages. There was a thread with Owen. Ethan, she's close. Just needs a little more pressure. Owen, she won't go through with it. Ethan, she will. She always folds. Owen, once she sells, we're good. I'll disappear for a bit. She's loaded anyway. Ethan, she's just emotional. Give it a week. That word. Folds. That was all I needed. I didn't confront him. I just started planning. The next morning, I told Ethan I was ready to help. Told him I'd sell the condo. He was smug. Told me I was doing the right thing. He even kissed my forehead like he was proud of me. What he didn't know was that I had already spoken to my realtor, my lawyer, and my friend Naomi, a real estate investor I trusted more than anyone. Within days, we had a buyer. Naomi. I sold the condo for $2.3 million in a private transaction under her investment firm's name. She'd hold it for 6 months, then quietly transfer it back to a trust in my name. We created airtight contracts. Clean title transfer. Even Ethan's lawyer, who he brought in to supervise, signed off. I acted teary-eyed and generous. Ethan was glowing with fake pride. See? He told Marcia over dinner. She finally gets it. A week later, I moved out. Ethan suggested we rent a modest place until Owen was in the clear. I smiled. Sounds perfect. We moved into a cramped apartment Ethan hated. He complained about the kitchen daily. He said I'd ruined his peace. I just kept smiling, because I knew the clock was ticking. 3 months later, Owen fled the country. The dangerous people came knocking. They wanted their money, and fast. That's when Ethan turned on me. You promised. I cut him off. I promised to help. I never promised to give him cash. Read the fine print. That's when he found out Naomi still held the condo. That she'd sold it to a trust. That trust had me listed as sole beneficiary. He lost it. I'll sue you. I handed him the prenup. You can try. He left that night. Tried to go back to his mom's place, but guess what? She lost her country estate in a bad investment Owen had pulled her into. Turns out, he hadn't just borrowed money from casinos. He'd pulled equity from her property too. It was gone. All of it. The last time I saw Ethan was in divorce court. He looked tired. Smaller somehow. His lawyer asked if I'd be willing to mediate. I said no. I watched the judge uphold every clause of our prenup. I kept my condo, my business, my name. Ethan walked away with a leased car and a credit score in the 500s. Owen. Last I heard, he was spotted in Macau. Still running from something. Marcia never called me again. She didn't even show up for the hearing. Now, I live back in my condo, with new hardwood floors and a view even more beautiful than I remember. Naomi comes over for wine every Friday. We laugh about it sometimes, how they all thought I would fold. But some of us weren't raised to fold. We were raised to fight quiet and win smart. I didn't lose my home. I weaponized it. And when he said I didn't have a choice, he was right. I chose revenge. And I chose me.